Today's lesson is on understanding of the role of Securities and Exchange Board of India, which is also known as SEBI. Now, the first question that may be raised in this behalf would be, who is SEBI, right? Towards that question, I would like to tell you that SEBI is the entity that regulates the functioning of capital market in India. Another question that may arise is that when markets are free in the present modern era, should there be a regulator? Should there be somebody who would oversee the market, who would regulate the market? The answer is yes. Why is it so? This is so because the modern markets cannot be let completely free without any regulation or control. Because human beings operate there. Because human beings who operate there in such markets are inherently manipulative in nature. Thus, they are tricky and can use finance to trick the people. That's why we need to have regulations in place. Now the question may be asked, what is the job of a regulator, right? In a layman's sense, a regulator is just like a match referee who overlooks the markets or acts as a watchdog to ensure that markets operate in a fair and just manner, right? So we will be today discussing the role of a very important market regulator, which is called Securities and Exchange Board of India. And the domain of this market regulator is to regulate the security markets or capital markets in India. When we say capital markets basically refers to the market meant for origination, sale, and trading of long-term securities, right? Those securities that generally have a maturity of over and above, 1 year, right? After listening to all this, you might be curious to know what is the jurisdiction of SEBI in India. So SEBI as a market regulator governs the dealings in long-term capital market securities and derivative instruments by different stakeholders in India's security or capital market, right? Now let's examine the security market, the place which discussed wherein this regulator, which is called Securities and Exchange Board of India, operates, right? The security market contains many stakeholders that can be separated into two layers. First layer has two principal parties, the issuers and the investors. Issuers are those companies that issue capital instruments and offer them to the investors for investment. All right. The second layer comprises of intermediaries that facilitate origination and sale of securities and subsequent trade in such securities among the investors in the market. So in the first layer, it comprises mainly of the investors and the other parties who provide them with the financial securities wherein they can invest. And in the second layer, it comprises of those entities or those institutions that act as intermediaries in the market and facilitate the facilitate the activities of investors and issuers in the market, right? So this is how the security market as a whole looks when we look at it in terms of different stakeholders, different agents that operate there, right? Now, this is the structure of stock exchange that operate in India. A question would be asked, what is a stock exchange? Stock exchange kya hota hai? The answer to that question is that stock exchange is again a market intermediary that provides investors with an electronic interface through which they can trade in securities in the market, right? Now, BSE and NSE, Bombay Stock Exchange and National Stock Exchange, are the two major national stock exchanges in India. Among these two, BSE is very old while NSE is of recent origin, but both of them are automated, right? OCTEI, which is called Over-the-Counter Exchange of India, is another national exchange, which is meant to provide market for smaller companies, public sector companies, and closely held companies. We generally cannot make their listing on the two major stock exchanges, that is NSE and BSE, because these stock exchanges have stringent entry norms for the companies, right? Then we have ICSE, which is called Interconnected Stock Exchange of India. This stock exchange is basically the stock exchange of stock exchanges, right? This stock exchange is promoted by 12 regional stock exchanges that are its trading members, right? The regional stock exchanges are located at different cities. Until recently, the nearest regional stock exchange to J&K was Ludhiana Stock Exchange. So this is, as a whole, the structure of stock exchanges that operate in India's capital market, right? Now come to the capital market regulations. This is the list of regulators that govern the India's financial market. Okay. Now, SEBI is the main regulator in the capital market, and RBI is the main regulator in the money market. The Department of Company Affairs and Department of Economic Affairs regulate the entire financial market concurrently, along with other regulators that include SEBI and RBI. Now, these are the various laws that apply to the capital market in India. You would have, you would have heard about them previously as well. On top of the list of the legislations that apply to the capital market in India includes the Company Act of 1956, then which was amended recently in 2013. Then we have Securities Contract Regulation Act of 1956. Then there is SEBI Act of 1992. Then finally there is the Depository Act of 1996, right? In the following slides, let's examine these legislations one by one. First, we begin with SEBI Act, right? Now, let's try to see what's contained in the SEBI Act, okay? These are the main provisions of SEBI Act of 1992 that lend teeth and muscle to the SEBI as a market regulator, right? The provisions of this act range from investor protection to development and regulation of securities market by the Securities and Exchange Board of India. Now, in this slide, are given the provisions that are main provisions that are contained in the Companies Act of 1956. These are wide-ranging. These concern the wide-ranging matters of joint stock companies that are covered under the Companies Act of 1956. The various provisions that make up the Companies Act of 1956 include matters related to issue, allotment, and transfer of securities, and then disclosures that are to be made by the firms or companies in the market, and also matters concerning underwriting rights, bonus, and payment of interest and dividend by the companies in the India's capital market, right? Then we have Securities Contract Regulation Act of 1956, which deals with laws concerning trading of securities in the market and also matters related to management of stock exchange in India. Okay, so this act is mainly to regulate the trading of securities in the India's capital market, and also it contains various provisions that relate to management of stock exchanges who operate in India's capital market, right? Then we have finally Depositories Act of 1956. Okay, the Depositories Act has been promulgated in 1996 mainly for setting up of depositories in India, and this law contains laws pertaining to maintenance and transfer of ownership of securities in scriptless form. Am I clear? Now, what does it mean in scriptless form? Scriptless form is opposite to physical form. Okay, so previously we had securities that were issued and traded in the capital market in the physical form, in the paper form, in the document form. Now that era is gone. In today's times, we have securities being issued by the companies not in the paper form or document form, rather they are being issued in the electronic form. And then such electronic securities are subsequently traded by the investors with other investors in the market, right? So at this moment, let me tell you that following the reforms of 90s, securities in India are now held and traded in the electronic format, right? So this is since 90s when massive reforms were undertaken in India that they discontinued to have securities in the physical form or document form, and then thereafter securities were allowed to be issued and traded in the electronic form, right? Now let's see why SEBI was introduced in India's capital market. What were the reasons that prompted the government of this country to introduce a market regulator in the form of SEBI in the capital market, right? Now before 90s, Indian capital market did not do well as it was highly controlled by the government. Due to this, it had become a hotbed for wrongdoings and scams. Then massive reforms were undertaken to set up things right, and one of such reforms was one of such reforms that was undertaken by the government of India was introduction of SEBI as a market regulator. This was done mainly to ensure development of capital market and protection of rights of investors that operate there, right? So this was the reason why SEBI was introduced in 90s in India's capital market, right? Now, SEBI was originally established in the year 1988, but it got powers only following issuance of SEBI ordinance in the month of January 92, followed by passing of SEBI Act late in the month of April 1993. 92. So SEBI was, basically established before the reforms, right, as a market regulator, but it did not had any powers. Later on, after the financial reforms were actually taken up in the Indian economy, this organization was, entrusted or given with the powers as well by the introduction of these, by the introduction of the SEBI Act in the year 1992, right? Then let us see how does SEBI act to facilitate and develop capital market in India. Okay, we know already that capital market comprises of three important stakeholders. For issuers, SEBI works to provide a marketplace in which they can raise finance fairly and easily. Similarly, for investors, it aims to protect their rights and ensure to supply them with accurate and correct information. And finally, for various market intermediaries, it works to create a competitive level playing field where they can compete with each other to produce efficient products and services in the financial market or the capital market, right? Now, under the SEBI Act, the objectives of SEBI are defined as these, right? Now, what are the objectives of SEBI Act? When we look at the SEBI, what are the objectives of SEBI in the capital market? When we look at the SEBI Act, we find that the objectives of SEBI are actually enumerated in the following manner, right? So SEBI has been established basically to regulate the activities of stock exchange. It has also been, set up to protect the rights of investors and ensure safety to their investment. The third objective is to prevent fraudulent and malpractices by having balance between self-regulation of business and its statutory regulations. And then finally, its purpose is to regulate and develop a code of conduct for intermediaries such as brokers, merchant bankers, and underwriters. So after looking at all these objectives which the law has laid down, we understand one can have a fair sense of the powers or the function that the SEBI is performing in the capital market in India, right? Now let's try to examine the powers of SEBI one by one in detail, right? Now from this which we saw previously, we can summarize functions of SEBI into these three categories, right? The categories can be the function of SEBI. The SEBI, delivers its functions into three categories. These categories can be the regulatory function, the developmental function, and the investor protection function. So what we saw in the previous slide, when we talked about the objectives, we can, summarize all the objectives into these three categories. Now, SEBI as a market regulator performs its role or functions in three different ways, right? One is its role as a regulator, another is its role as an entity meant for development of the market, and third, its role as a protector of the rights of the investors in the market, right? Then first of all, let's take a look on its regulatory function. How does SEBI perform its regulatory function, right? Under a regulatory role, SEBI regulates functioning of various market intermediaries like merchant bankers, brokers, underwriters. This is done by providing them with a code of conduct which guides them as to how they have to act in the markets, right? Similarly, SEBI is the entity that registers or gives authorization to brokers, mutual funds, and stock exchange to operate in the capital market. So without seeking consent of SEBI, these intermediaries or these entities will not be allowed to operate in the market, right? So this is how, then SEBI regulates the functioning or entry of various market regulators in the India's capital market, right? Not only this, SEBI also regulates the functioning of all these market intermediaries by inquiry and conduct of audit of their documents and books of account. Okay, so this is how SEBI acts as a regulator, or in other words, we can say performs its regulatory role in the India's capital market, right? Now let's take a look at the developmental functions performed by the SEBI, right? When we look at the developmental role of SEBI, which it does by promoting of training programs and events for various market intermediaries, and also through promoting and reforming activities that a stock exchange can offer in the security market. So it does two things under the domain of its developmental role. Number one is that it promotes training of intermediaries of the securities market. It provides them various facilities with the help of which they can train themselves and their people about how to operate in the, or what are the various developments that are taking place in the securities market, right? The second is that SEBI tries to promote activities of stock exchange by adopting flexible and adaptable approach in the following way, right? So in case of SEBI, SEBI ensured that up by SEBI very recently. Okay, just with the idea of develop, just with the idea of uh, making possible the development of the security market, right? Then finally, even under then finally, excuse me. Then finally, even initial public offer of primary market is permitted through stock exchange, right? So these are some of the measures that have been taken by SEBI recently. Idea is its developmental role. Idea is actually to act as an entity, as a central entity in the markets, with the purpose of ensuring that markets develop, markets become more, there is more progress in the markets, right? Then we look at the protective role, right? Investor protection role, in the investor protection role, all the role that SEBI performs for the sake of protecting the rights of the investors, right? These are the protective functions that SEBI performs to protect interests of investors. That includes mainly small or retail investors in the market. Under these functions, SEBI ensures that there is no price rigging or insider trading taking place in the markets, right? How does SEBI do it? How does SEBI ensure that no price rigging or insider taking happens in the market? Because these are these are such activities that are not considered good for the development of the markets. Okay. Now SEBI ensures that no price rigging or insider trading takes place in the market by putting in place a punitive mechanism for those people who indulge in such illegal activities, right? Now let's try to understand what price rigging is and why SEBI would, not like to have it there in the markets, because they believe that it would be detrimental for the progress of the markets, right? Now, what's price rigging? For example, price rigging is basically some people manipulating the price for the sake of their vested interest, right? Now, why would SEBI not like to allow people to indulge in price rigging, right? Price rigging, which involves manipulating the price of securities by a few for their vested interests, could be detrimental to the interests of small and less literate investors, right? Because there are people who try to manipulate the price with the purpose of benefiting for seeking undue benefit, undue gains from the market, and this is what has a potential to lead to, on the other side, losses or damages to large number of small investors in the market, right? So SEBI as a market regulator would not like to allow people to indulge in such activities, because it is obliged to do so under its protective functions and under its responsibility of protecting the rights of all the investors in the market, right? Similarly, in insider trading, which means trading when someone has access to price sensitive information that has yet not been disclosed by a company in the market. Generally, people who trade in the markets, they trade in securities on the basis of information which is made available to them by which is made available to them from different sources, and mainly from the source of the companies that actually announce that information, right? But sometimes what happens, company is yet to announce a certain information, and this information is actually uh, used by somebody who is privy or internal to the company to build a position in the market and draw undue gains by investing through that position. Am I clear? So that is what is called insider trading. Okay. So insider trading, which means trading when someone obviously has access to price sensitive information, and that information has not yet been disclosed by the company in the market. If that person uses this information to build a position in the market, buy or invest money in the market, and then gain out of that, then this is something which won't be considered fair. This is something which would be, considered making of gains or profits at the cost of the others. Okay, so SEBI, under the investor protection role, will obviously not like to allow people to, indulge in such activity, right? Because such an activity has potential is such an activity could potentially lead to making of illegal or undue gains by a few at the cost of large number of small and less informed investors, right? Hence, SEBI aims to prohibit all fraudulent and unfair trade practices that can potentially harm investors in general. For this purpose, it has been providing investors with a facility where they can lodge complaints and seek their redressal or seek their redressal from SEBI as a market regulator, right? Now, towards this end, towards addressing the grievances of the investors in the market, SEBI has created a full-fledged website for awareness of investors that provides them with information on various investment matters and particularly guides them uh, how they can file their complaints and have them redressed by SEBI as a market regulator, right? So so uh, that's about the role of the SEBI in its capacity of protecting the interest or protecting the rights of the investors in the capital market as a whole, right? Now, finally, we take a look what SEBI can do. What are the powers? What powers have been given to the SEBI in order to act and take action on those who are found to be indulging in either illegal or unfair or fraudulent uh, trade practices in the market, right? So this is the list of the activities, or this is the list of the actions that SEBI can go ahead with in order to regulate or control the stock markets in India, right? When we look at this list, we understand that SEBI can ask any intermediary or market participant for the information, right? So if it finds that anyone is not doing well, anyone who operates in the market, whether it's an investor or it's a issuing company or a market intermediary, when SEBI feels that such a participant in the market is doing unfairly, am I clear? It can intervene and ask the participant to share the information so that it understands or comes to the conclusion whether it's really true about, or whether the party has really done something wrong, and whether a necessary action is warranted in the matter or not. Am I clear? Then the second power or second authority that SEBI has in the market is that it can inspect books of various participants, various intermediaries in the market that include depository participants, issuers, or beneficiary owners. Okay, so it can inspect the books of accounts of issuing companies that operate in the capital markets for raising capital. Similarly, it can inspect books of accounts of other participants as well. Under third power, SEBI has the authority to suspend or cancel a certificate of registration granted to a depository participant or an issuer, in the same manner in which it can allow various market participants to trade, to deal, or to raise capital in the market. In the same manner, it can cancel their authority. It can cancel their certificate of permission, right? Then under fourth point, it has the power to suspend or cancel the registration of a banker to the issue or request RBI to inspect the books of such intermediary. So, as a whole, let me tell you that SEBI has the authority as a market regulator in the India's capital market to permit various intermediaries to operate in the India's capital market, right? But once permission is given to various intermediaries to operate in the India's capital market, later on that permission brings them under the direct purview or the direct regulation or control of the SEBI as a market regulator. Then later on, SEBI can ask them to disclose information. It can inspect their books, and if it finds that any market intermediary which was allowed to operate in the capital market has done something wrong, then SEBI has the authority, or it's empowered to cancel the registration of that intermediary and then debar it from operating in the market. Okay. Then on the fifth point, it can suspend or cancel the registration of custodians, foreign institutional investors, merchant bankers, portfolio managers, registrars, share transfer agents, or a broker. These are various intermediaries who are basically engaged whenever a company is interested in launching a public offer in the market. So the services of all these intermediaries are at that point of time taken. So these intermediaries have a scope to operate in the capital market for the sake of facilitating, helping issuing companies to launch capital offers in the market. Now, again, these intermediaries cannot operate in capital market on their own, because capital market is regulated by the government through Securities and Exchange Board of India. These intermediaries will be allowed to operate in the capital market only once, they are allowed by SEBI, only once they fulfill the requirements of the SEBI for allowing them to operate in the market. Am I clear? In the same manner, they are allowed to operate in the market if in future they are not found, if they are found operating in contravention or against the code of conduct which is given to them by SEBI to operate in the capital market, then in that case their license or their registration or their license is cancelled. That is the power which the SEBI enjoys, and that it can do in case it finds feasible to do relating to various intermediaries that operate in the capital market, right? Then in the sixth point, we find that SEBI can investigate affairs of mutual funds, their trustees, and asset management companies, right? Mutual funds are the entities that help investors who directly cannot invest their money in the capital market instruments. These are the entities who facilitate or help them to invest their money in the capital market, right? So mutual funds in that sense are again intermediaries who operate in the capital market. Okay, so these, like other intermediaries, cannot operate in the capital market unless and until a permission or a registration has been sought from the SEBI. Okay, once they are registered and allowed to operate in the capital market, they come under the purview of the powers of the Securities and Exchange Board of India, and later on, at any point of time, SEBI is authorized to investigate what they are doing, whether they are doing, as per, whether they are doing their affairs in a fair manner, and whether they are, following the rules that have been set for them in order to operate in the capital market, right? Then finally, SEBI can investigate an acquirer, a seller, or a merchant banker for violating takeover rules. Okay, so this as a whole, represents the list of powers or the list of the authority, list of the instruments that the SEBI can use as a market regulator in India's capital market. So that's all from my side about the role of Securities and Exchange Board of India as a market regulator in India's stock market. If you have any questions, you can write them on the screen so that I can take them up. If there are no questions,